Hello students, welcome everyone for today's online session. Today let me start with your unit 1 phylum protozoa in that part 2. In part 1 I have told you about what are the basis of classification of the animals, and in part 2 we will be starting with the proper general characters, or it is also called as general characteristics of the phylum protozoa and classification up to classes. It comes under Unit 1 Phylum Protozoa, your paper 1 1.7 Animal Diversity, first semester zoology syllabus. So what are the topics which you will be studying today is, you will study the general characters of the phylum and then classification up to classes with suitable examples. So what are the general characteristics of the phylum? We will study one by one, okay. So it belongs to kingdom Protista. I have told you, kingdom is the very large taxon of classification. It is the biggest taxon of classification. All the animals starting from your ants up to human beings ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಅನಿಮೇಲಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಪ್ರೋಟೋಜೋವಾ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ಸು ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ 5 ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ RH ವಿಟ್ಟೇಕರ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀರಾ ಇನ್ your PU classes. Okay, so he has given 5 kingdom classification starting from kingdom Monera, second is Protesta, third is Mycota, and fourth is kingdom Plantae, and fifth is kingdom Animalia. So based on this classification, so you will classify the organisms here. So phylum Protozoa comes under the kingdom Protesta. They are known as acellular or non-cellular organisms. So ಪ್ರೋಟೋಜೋವಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು acellular ಅಥವಾ non-cellular organisms ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ? What is the reason behind this? A protozoan body consists of only mass of protoplasm. Okay, so they are called acellular or non-cellular animals. So here you don't have a proper nuclear membrane, then separately you don't have like cytoplasm, cell organelles and all. ಈ ಥರ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮಾಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೋಪ್ಲಾಸಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರೋಟೋಪ್ಲಾಸಮ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಯು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ cytoplasm containing the nucleus. Okay, that liquid substance present inside the cell is nothing but the protoplasm. Okay, so they are known as acellular or non-cellular animals. Why? Because there is no proper structure as such like a cell is having. So we call this as a acellular or non-cellular animals. So what is the habitat? What is the habitat here? The place where the organisms live. It is called as habitat. So it is mostly aquatic. They are all aquatic, ಅಂದರೆ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ಜಲಚರ ಜೀವಿಗಳು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐದರ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟಿಕ್ ಆರ್ ಕಮೆನ್ಸಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಫುಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್, ಆರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ parasitic. Parasites means these are the organism which depends on the host or the other organism, and that organism is called as host for their food and shelter. So ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಹೌ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅವರ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಲವ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಕಮೆನ್ಸಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೂ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜು ಏನೂ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಕಮೆನ್ಸಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಬಂದು ಪ್ರೋಟೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಿಕ್ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಯು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ cell. Then single cell performs all the vital activities here. So there are no organ system like we have our heart for circulation, lungs for respiration, okay, this kidneys and all, brain which controls the nervous system and all. We don't have it. So we have all these organs for each and every system, but this is not having any no organ system. Hence a single cell will perform all the activities. Okay, your respiration, your circulation, your reproduction, okay, then your metabolism, each and every activity is performed by single cell only will be its own organ here. Then body of the protozoa is either naked or covered by a pellicle. Body of that will be covered by a covering called as pellicle, or maybe naked means absence of the pellicle. So locomotion, movement, locomotory organs are pseudopodia. Okay, as you can see in amoeba, those are called as false foot. Pseudo means false, they are not correct, false foot. And then cilia are absent. Cilia may be present or sometimes no locomotory organs. As they are floating in the aquatic system, they doesn't need actually the locomotory organs here. So nutrition, how they will get their food. So nutrition are holophytic. Holophytic means like plants or holozoic like animals. They depend on the sunlight and they go for the photosynthesis sometimes if they are green in color, having the green pigment. Holozoic means they feed or they engulf the whole organism and then they'll digest it. Okay, holozoic means how we eat, or how some of the reptiles and all, snakes and all, they engulf the whole organism, right, inside. They won't make the pieces and they take it inside. ಸೊ ಫುಲ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ನೇ ಒಂದೇ ಸರಿ ಎನ್ಗಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೋಲೋಜೋಯಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದೆನ್ ಸಾಪ್ರೋಫೈಟಿಕ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಡೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಡಿಕೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಫುಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಡೆಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ನ ಇದು ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂಥ ಫುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಇದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಯೂಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಡೈಜೆಷನನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಂಟ್ರಾಸೆಲ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಂಟ್ರಾ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಕ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫುಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ಫುಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್, empty spaces present in the protozoans. Inside that the food digestion will take place. Respiration is through body surface. So body surface in the oxygen and carbon dioxide is exchanged with that of the environment, maybe the water or maybe outside the water. What osmoregulation takes place? What is this osmoregulation? Maintenance of the salt and water concentration. It should be equal inside as well as outside the body. Okay, this is maintained. This is called as osmoregulation. Contractile vacuoles are there which are present inside the protozoan. These helps in the process of osmoregulation. So reproduction is in two ways: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is through binary fission or budding. Sexual reproduction is by syngamy, conjugation. Okay, that is two nucleus will join, that is the male and the female gamete will combine to give you a zygote here. This is called a syngamy. Then classification of protozoa. So phylum Protozoa is classified into 4 classes on the basis of locomotory organs. There must be some basis. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಬೇಸಿಸನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ನ 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನು ಬೇಸಿಸನ್ನ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲೋಕೋಮೋಟರಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು, ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೈಸೋಪೋಡ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ Class 2 is Mastigophora or Flagellata. Class 3 is Sporozoa and Class 4 is Ciliata. So we'll study each one, okay, one by one. So in Class 1, that is Rhizopoda, locomotory organs are pseudopodia, that is false foot. So wherever it wants to move, it will make its podia to fall on that side. Okay, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಇದು ಕಾಲನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್. ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ asexually ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೈನರಿ ಫಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಒನ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಇಂಟು 2 ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ 2 ವಿಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲಿ ಬೈ syngamy. I said you syngamy is fusion of the male and the female gamete. So conjugation will not be there. Mixing of the nucleus of male and the female will not be there. Okay, examples amoeba and entamoeba is an example. So next is Class 2 Mastigophora or Flagellata. Here locomotory organ is a flagella. It is a very long thread-like structure called as flagella. Free living or parasite. It may be free living or parasites. Body is covered with cellulose, chitin or silica. So what are the substances by which the body wall is formed? Body ಮೇಲೆ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲೋಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್, ಕೈಟಿನ್ ಆರ್ ಸಿಲಿಕಾ. ಓಕೆ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್. ದೆನ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬೈ ಲಾಂಜಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ ಫಿಷನ್. ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಲಾಂಜಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ ಫಿಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅಪ್ಸೈಡ್ ಟು ಡೌನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ two divided parts will develop into 2 new organisms. So here also conjugation is absent. Example is Giardia, Euglena and Trypanosoma. Then Class 3 Sporozoa. Here locomotory organ is absent. Then exclusively endoparasites, means living inside the body of the other organism. Endo means inside. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಎಂಡೋ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸೋ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಡ್ ಲವ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಫೀಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್, ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸೋ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಎಂಡೋ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟೆಸ್ಟೈನ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಮೇ ಬಿ ದ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಯಾರಿಸ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಜಂತುಳ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಎಂಡೋ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಜೋವಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಎಂಡೋ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತರ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಆಸ್ಮೋ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಾಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಕವರ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಪೆಲಿಕಲ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Asexual reproduction takes place by fission and sexual reproduction by spores. Spores, there are spores, and these spores will help for the process of sexual reproduction. Example for sporozoa, Plasmodium and Monocystis is an example. Then class 4, ciliata. Here the locomotory organ is cilia. Small hair-like structures covering whole the body of the organism. Body is covered by pellicle here, and asexual reproduction takes place by binary fission. Sexual reproduction takes place by conjugation. Okay, conjugation. So two organisms come together, and there the nucleus of two will fuse, and then that will develop into a new organism. Nuclei, two types are there. One is macronucleus, one is micronucleus. Bigger and another one is micro, is smaller nucleus. In the ciliata, you have usually like this. Example is paramecium, vorticella and blanchidium. These are the examples. Here you can see this is Plasmodium, which comes in Sporozoa. This is amoeba, which comes in Rhizopoda. This is Euglena, which comes in Flagellata or Mastigophora, and this comes in Ciliata. Here you have two micronucleus and macronucleus, bigger and smaller. Two nucleus are present. Okay, and here in Euglena, contractile vacuoles are there. Here also it is there, and these are pseudopodia. This is amoeba. This is Plasmodium. Okay, so this is about your phylum Protozoa. With this we will be stopping today's session. So let me tell you once again what we have studied today. We have started with the general characteristics of phylum Protozoa. Okay, here you have studied some 13 general characteristics, and we have started with classification of the Protozoa. Here on the basis of the locomotory organ, phylum is divided into 4 classes. So class 1 is Rhizopoda, okay, where the locomotory organs are pseudopodia. Example is amoeba and entamoeba. And Mastigophora, here it is also called as Flagellata. The locomotory organ is flagella. Example for this is Euglena and Trypanosoma. Then Sporozoa, here locomotory organs are absent because they are endoparasites. As they are living in other organism, they don't need to move from one place to another place, as well as they don't need to have the digestion and nutrition, so contractile vacuoles are absent in Plasmodium. Okay, and Ciliata, here the locomotory organs are cilia. Example for this is Paramecium. Here you can see the Plasmodium, which belongs here. You don't have any locomotory organs and no contractile vacuoles. Okay, so this is about your phylum Protozoa. With this I will be stopping today's session. So thank you, students.